Hello and welcome to my brand new tutorial on SpringBoot data validation. And this will be the agenda. We'll create a SpringBoot project and save data in S2 database. And then we'll add a bean validation. I'll show you that if we are not validating the objects, the beans, in that case, what is getting saved into the database. And then I will add a bean validation. And then I'll show you again how that behaves. So let's start. Go to start.spring.io. I've selected Maven from project, Java language, and Spring Boot version 2.7.11. I'm naming this as Hello World Validator JPA. I'm adding dependencies as web, S2, data JPA. These are the starter dependencies I'm adding, and then validation. And I'm not adding Lombok here. Click on generate. It will generate and download this project in a zip file. I'll go to downloads folder. Here it is. I'll cut it, paste it inside my folder. This one. Extract this zip file. I will import this project in my workspace, Eclipse workspace. Import existing Maven project. Next, browse. Finish. So here it is importing the Maven project and downloading the dependencies. Let's wait. So all the dependencies are downloaded. I'll open the pom.xml file. Let's see what are the dependencies that are here. It's starter data GPA, then starter validation, then starter web, and we have S2 also. Starter test is not required for this demo. We'll go to SRC main Java, and we will try to create few packages first. New package dot controller. Dot model. In the model package, I'll be putting my request objects. In the entity object that will be saved, and there will be repo package. Let's create a entity first. Create a class employee. So I'll mark this with @entity. Private int ID. Private string name. Private int age. Private string department name. Private string email. So I've added these few properties, and I'll be generating getters and setters. I'll mark this ID with @ID annotation. I want these fields to be generated automatically. Okay, so this is done. I'll create a model package similarly to this employee. I'm copying these fields. Employee request. So this will be our request object. Generate getters and setters. I'll go to controller. I'll mark this class with @rest controller. And there will be a request mapping at the class level also. The path I'll give is class employees. I'll be having I'll be creating only 2 endpoints because this demo is only for showing the validations. Employee save Add request body, employee request object, and I'll mark this method with at post mapping. Employee, and similarly I'll create a fetch all method also. Fetch all. No need for any method arguments here. And our controller is ready. I'll go to repo and I'll create an interface. Repo. A repo will extend GPA repository. Extend session. Here it entity and ID. It is the data type of the ID. So it is integer. Here you can see the data type is int. So we cannot give a primitive type. It is basically a wrapper object. So that's it. I'll go here and auto wire and not creating any service class here. There will be I'll be just calling the repo real layer from the controller class. Repo. I'll auto wire this. I'll do repo first. I'll do repo dot fetch all, find all. Okay, and this I'll return, and I think this returns a list, marking the return type as list. Import the list from java.util package, and now this is the request object. I need to create a entity type object, so I'll create an entity employee obj equal to employee. Let me create a constructor here first. Generate constructor using fields. Select all, generate, and I'll generate another blank constructor, default constructor. Not showing any options. I think this one, right? And now we go here. So I'll start with 0. Let me call 0. The name is request object. Dot get name. The third parameter is age. Fourth one is department name. The last one is email. I'll convert this. Now what I'll do is I'll call repo dot save pass obj, and I'll return the same obj. So our endpoint is ready. This one, both the endpoints are ready. Interface is also ready. The request object is there in place. What I'll do is I will go to resources. I'll add few fields for I'll add few fields here for S2 database. My port number is 9090. I've created put this DB, and I've enabled the S2 console. Let's start the application and see it's working. Run as Java application. Sorry, we have to enable the GPA repository here also. Enable. Now let's start. So our Spring Boot is coming up. It's taking port number 8080. So our application.properties file is not taken up. How we can fix it? Go to build path, configure build path. Here it is excluded star. Remove this. Apply and close. stop the server and start it again. So this is basically an issue in Eclipse. Sometimes it doesn't take application.properties file, changes in the application.properties file. So you have to do the same activity that I just did. Go to build path and remove the excluded from RC main resources folder. So here it is taken 9090 port. Now I'll try to save few objects. So here employees / employee, right? I'll add an object. Let's see if okay, so it is started, and I'll click on send. Okay, so it is saved. Now I'll add John also. Let's save it. Now I'll go to S2 console, localhost, to see if the data is saved or not. I'll click on connect. This is the employee table. I'll run it. This is the testdb. It's a email is null, right? And suppose I give it a blank name and I give an age as 299. So you can see this is not a valid name, neither a valid age. And let's give email. This property that you are sending from the postman must match with the entity. So you go to entity and this is email. Okay, so it's correct, I think. Yes, I'll name abc at abc123. So this is not a valid email also. And if I click on save, send, it will save that object also in the database. If I run it again, you see there's a blank name and the age is 299, which is invalid. Name is also invalid. Email is also invalid. So in that case, we have to put a validation, because this is an invalid object that we're sending. So what we'll do is we can go to, I'll stop the server for now. We can go to our controller class, and when we are saving this object, we can mark it as @valid with @valid annotation. So this comes from JavaX. Okay, it's not coming from Spring. And we can also do one more thing. We go to by request, and here our name we can mark it with @not null, or see it says not null or empty. We can put it not blank, and message equal to name cannot be blank or null. Okay, our age we can write minimum 0, and at maximum 99. And above department name also we can put the same thing. And let's change message department, and our email we have an @email annotation. So these all are coming from JavaX. So that's it. We have made changes. Now I'll restart the application again. Run a Java application. I'm waiting for the server to come up. So the server has started. I go here and click on send. So you see it says bad request. So here we go and see all the requests are coming in this format. Let me pull out this in a notepad. Okay, so it says default message must be well formed email address, field error, employee request unfilled. So you can see there we are getting some default messages. must be less than or equal to 99. These all are messages that we have put, but users, we should not send this message in these formats to the user. User will not like an error message in this format. So what we can do is we'll add a exception handler class that will handle this kind of exception. You see the type of exception is method argument, not valid exception. What we can do is we can create a package dot exception handle, and I'll create a class app exception handler. I'll mark this class with @rest controller advice. You just have to remember that whenever we talk about validation or exception handling, basically exception handling in Spring Boot, we must think about controller advice. Okay, so since this is a REST API, we are using REST controller advice. And here I'll be creating a function public string handle message handle error, and this is a special kind of error. So I'll write handle error message, no, handle bean errors, and we'll mark this class with @exception handler method with @exception handler, and it takes one value. Value will be the type of the class. So we can basically write exception.class also, exception.class. In that case, any kind of exception that will be thrown by your Spring Boot application will be caught here in this method. But we want to handle this specific kind of exception. So what we can do is copy this name and just put it here. I'm trying to import it. Now imported, and here we can put the same. And what we can do is we can get if you go here, we can see that it has lots of method. So let's try to print it first. Okay, so I'll do a sysout ex. Okay, and then I'll try to iterate over it and see you how to handle this. Return blank. I'm putting a debugger here. Sorry, I'm restarting the project in debug mode. Debug as Java application. Hope I put everything here. Yes, everything is here. So our server has started in 26 seconds. I'll click on send. So here is our debugger. I'll try to inspect, and here you can see in the binding results we get all the messages. Ex dot you have to do ex dot binding result, and inside the arrays errors. I think if you go expand the errors, we have 3 size. There are 3 errors here, and here also we have field error. So field name default message. So we have to take out the field name and default message from the field error. So what we can do is we can write here. Let's try ex dot get field error, and we have method called field error. Yes. Dot for each. I'll do an object, and I'll create basically a map here. Map of string field name versus default message string error map equal to new hash map. And here I can do copy it. Okay, let's import the map first. Okay, error map dot put dot obj dot get field name, get field, and obj dot get default message. That's it. What we can do is return a map instead of returning a string, and return this. There's no need for this now. I'll stop the server, restart it. Right. So our server is starting with a new code of this box. I'm waiting for the server to come up. So our server is started. Now I go to Postman and I send. Click on send. So let's press effect. You see, our error message is coming, right? So if I put some name here, Vijay, and in the database also, if I run, okay, let's connect again. There is no object here because the last one was not saved. Let me remove them. So again, we have two validation messages. If I remove the name to 29, and let's try to send. So this is still there is still an error. So I'll go here and I'll see. Let's run it again. So there is still no data in the database because we are sending a validation error. Now if I fix it at gmail.com, now the data is saved. If you go here, click on run, now you can see that data is saved. So guys, this way we can do a Spring Boot bean validation. So this is quite easy. You just have to handle the exceptions here and return a map of field versus the default messages. Then you just have to put add valid annotation here, and in the request object put these message validation annotations. So these are already provided by Java, and one is coming from org Hibernate. So that was it. That was it for the for today's demo. Thank you for watching. Please like this channel, like this video, and subscribe my channel. Thank you.